side, and as a stranger just walked into the studio, and not been on for at least 3 weeks. So, so we're going to have a little guest for you. We were hoping to have a former manager come onto the site, but unfortunately he's stuck on the M1. So Ed's just going to depart, and we'll let somebody else read out the Redditch United team, who's a professional. Welcome to Marathon Man and
Shit.
How are you doing?
I'm
not sure what that was.
How you doing? You alright?
I'm fine, thank you.
Sorry, you're taking me a bit by surprise. I'm filling in for someone a lot more important than myself. So,
I'm not so sure about that. But, how would you pronounce number 11 then for Redditch United?
God, that is a good name. This is it. These are the points at which I'm glad that I only have to write them, and it's already written for me.
I can't even start to pronounce it.
Apostacus,
Apostacopulus. 3.
I reckon he's probably known as AA, isn't he?
AA, that's what we'll call him. AA. Duracell. Yes.
Dwayne Courtney. Yeah.
So there we go then. There's no ex-Kettering goalkeeper in goal tonight. Dunham Hines hasn't been in the Redditch United side this season, I don't think, so he's not there. In fact, there's no Kettering connections at all with Redditch United, where a few years ago we had 1 or 2, didn't we?
Yes. There's been a few down the years, isn't there? I recognise a couple of the names in there actually. Just looking at it, Dwayne Courtney was at Corby Town last season, and as was Clay McDonald, who's on the bench. But aside from that, it looks pretty unfamiliar, to be honest, which is a sign of the times for Redditch. I think with they've obviously had changes a lot with the new manager and this season, and I think it's taken them a little bit like Kettering. For this season, it's taken them a little bit of time to find their feet, but yeah, it's it'll be interesting because it's 2 teams who are really close together in the league.
Yes, I was just saying to Ed that we have the teams here. We're ready for 9th on 29 points on 19 games played, and the Poppies on 20 on 27 points. 9 and 10 points. 10 points Kettering are behind Hitchin in 5th place, and a good distance away from leaders Leamington, who we play a week tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty much crunch time, isn't it? We cast our minds back to a year ago, don't we? And after a false start, and they needed to get going, and they did, and they need to do the same around the same time of year again if they're going to threaten those playoff places. There's a lot of ground to make up. They've lost a lot of ground with just the inconsistency. It's just been incredible, the inconsistency of them. When you look at winning 7-0 at St Ives now, I wasn't at the game, and I understand people saying, St Ives weren't great, but even if they weren't great, no one else has put 7 past them.
Exactly.
But then
that same team that went to Whitton Albion and capitulated for 80 minutes.
And there you go. And that really summed up the season. Those 2 games just basically summed up the whole season for you, didn't they? Because it's just been, you never really know what you're going to get. But all of a sudden, just maybe in the last 3 games, if you look at the league games, and if you take the Whitton game out of it, if you look at the league games, the win at St Ives, then they won at
Kings
Langley, which I understand was a very hard-fought win. And then if you look at what Kings Langley did on Saturday, they were 2-0 up at Slough late on and coughed one up in the 96th minute or something like that, I think. So that looks like a decent result at Kings Langley. And then,
of course, Kettering played really well against Hitchin. We were there, and it was a very solid performance, as Marcus Law said. It was a solid performance, and without the goalkeeper Liam Gooch on loan from Luton Town, 19-year-old lad, had an absolute blinder. I know that's his job, but without him there, Kettering should have come away with all 3 points.
And that's if they'd it was interesting speaking to Marcus Law on Saturday. I spoke to him on Saturday evening, and he said, I said, well, it looks like a decent point. He said, if he'd given me that at the start of the game, I probably would have said, yeah, we'll take that and we'll go home. And but he said by the 90th minute, I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't nicked it. But as he said, if they go and win tonight and then they go and win on Saturday, then it looks like a brilliant point.
Hitchin. It is. That's what I was going to say, John. I mean, it's okay doing well at Hitchin Town and having two good wins against Kings Langley and against St Ives, but again, lose tonight or draw tonight at home and not perform against Dorchester, it makes that point at Hitchin almost irrelevant, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's what they've got to do. And they've got a bit of work to do here at Latimer Park, haven't they? Because you look at that away form, it's title away form. They're in absolute title away form.
As I said to the Hitchin guy realised on Saturday it's the top away form team against one of the best home team records.
Absolutely.
But it's a stalemate as it's bound to be, isn't it? 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. So it's Latimer Park that's been the problem. But just I was having a look at it, and I was thinking about it yesterday about when was the last time they played at home in the league, and it was actually, I think you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it was Weymouth, which they won, and they've obviously beaten Market Drayton here in the FA Trophy since then, and they had the Hillier Cup penalty shootout win over Peterborough Sports as well. So you're kind of hoping, you're just hoping that the worm is starting to turn a little bit in their favour.
But also, the pitch is better this season than it has been the last 3 seasons we've been here, hasn't it? I mean, looking out there today, I mean, I was amazed. We said when we came on show, that I was amazed this game is going ahead when you consider Dog and Duck, Wellingborough is off, and various of the ones around the county are off.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I wasn't the only one who was watching that rain come down yesterday thinking, well, we have to think about what we're going to do tomorrow night, because I don't think we're going to be going out to watch any football. And then, I had a brief text message exchange of text messages with Ken Samuel this morning, and he emailed me a couple of pictures which I put on Twitter and everything of yesterday afternoon when there was puddles on the pitch, which you would expect, and then this morning where it was just, it looked like a billiard table.
My only concern out there is the lines. They need to chalk them.
Yeah, the lines probably need a bit of a paint, and it'll be interesting to see what state the pitch is in at 9:30. But at the same time, I think we're pretty clear weather-wise for the rest of the week. So hopefully by Saturday it would have recovered in time. But kudos to the guys behind the scenes.
Graham Coles in particular.
Yeah, Graham Coles, who I know works his heart off on it, and for the club for dealing with the situation, because it was a situation that needed dealing with, and dealt with it. They have, and the pitch looks really good for it.
It does indeed. Well, John's here covering it for the Telegraph, and one thing that's been in the Telegraph again this week is the announcement that the council have once again refused to do anything for Kettering Town. I can't mention the word, but it was to be expected, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I'm a bit wary because I think the last time I spoke about this with you,
you seemed to have a little rant.
Yeah, I think I ended up going on a massive rant. I'm not going to do that this time because I'm sorry, but what I will say about that is this. I think, and I did put this out on Twitter at the time when the announcement came through, because I was expecting that to be the situation. I'm sure everyone deep down probably thought that was the way it was going to go. And look, it is what it is. There's no surprises. You're not going to get any help as far as Rockingham Road's concerned. And I'm not going to, I'm not going to go and tell people who still want to fight for it and everything to stop, because if they want to, that's fine. But as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, I think Rockingham Road is finished. I think you've got to forget that. I think you've got to move on now and forget it. So
I said to Richard Atkinson, I think a little while ago, and to the chairman and many other people, that if Rockingham Road was a going concern, I would have thought that the owners of Rockingham Road, the Pickering estate, would have been in contact with the club to do a deal.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they're not, and they're still trying to get the land sold, is for me the key point of the whole affair.
I mean, look, there's nothing stopping Kettering from going in and seeing if they can buy the land or whatever. But as far as getting any help towards it anyway, I think it's a dead duck. I really do. So you have to look at what the other options are now. Are there more options in Kettering? That's fine. Explore them if there are and everything. But Richie Jum put the plans out there public about what he would like to do here if he could, and he's obviously thought about it long and hard, and he's talked to people about it and everything like that. And I just wonder now whether given that they've hit a bit of a brick wall, the fans, this is in terms of the Rockingham Road protest and everything like that, whether it might be time for the club to say, look, why don't we see what we can do with Latimer Park now. I don't want to misquote anyone from the council, but I'm sure when I saw a bit of footage from the meeting, I'm sure there was some sort of line from at least someone within there who wasn't with them on the Rockingham Road thing, but did say, we will, something along the lines of, I don't want to put words in their mouths, but something along the lines of, we would support the idea of them staying at Latimer Park and maybe help in any way we could. I'm sure it was something like that.
Words are very easy though, aren't they, to come out within...
Absolutely, and we've heard them all before. But if it was me now, I would take them at that thing, and I would start looking at maybe what you can do here, because you've got the lease on it. It's there for 25 years. It's going to be home for a while. So why not start seeing if you can do something with it? And
it needs to really beef up to be a ground, doesn't it? And get people in the stands. And,
exactly. I mean, people will talk about it should be in Kettering and everything like that, but it's almost the old Field of Dreams thing, isn't it? If you build it, I think people will come, and I'm sure they will. But obviously, you've still got to put results on the pitch as well, which is ultimately
results on the pitch, and that's what it's all about.
You can have a nice ground. You can have a nice ground all you want, but if you're not putting results on the pitch, then
we always say get that bit right. The rest is there, isn't it?
Exactly.
But,
the rest will fall into place, and they've got a lot of work to do to attract a few people back because the crowds are down a little bit. And,
down by 100.
Yeah. So
this season.
So they've got a bit of work to do from that point of view, and the only way to do that is to get results, and hopefully it starts tonight.
Yes, well, we'll be seeing that in around 4 or 5 minutes' time. John's got a. Are you over here with us, or are you popping off over the other side?
I'm going to stay over here for the banter.
Ah, right. You're not going to the dark side then.
No, I'm not going to go to the dark side. I'm going to stay up here with you guys and enjoy your.
Well, I mean, that's just the luxurious conditions we're in now. It's sweltering in here. Isn't it
is absolutely roasting.
Yes,
yeah.
we've actually got some heating in here now for the first time in 3 years. There's no more people in scarves and hats and jackets. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'll be glad if this is at 9:30 though, I think.
So there we go then. We'll let John clamber up the stairs, and thank you, John Dunham, for his views. He's brief views this time and no rants this time about the council, but it was enjoyable last time. And if you've not seen John Dunham's rant, you can find that on YouTube, or you can catch it on Facebook on Poppies TV Facebook page if you want to see what John said about the council. And it is a very good listen, believe me, and fair play to him for doing that.